Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Compass of Curiosities. Joined by my co-host Ian
We
Murphy.
are
How are we
your
doing tonight, Ian?
hosts.
Wahahaha.
I am well. How are you? We're putting on our
Doing
deep
all right.
voices for the evening.
Got some nasal stuff going on, so it's a little bit deeper this evening. So,
No worries, man. No worries. You're good. You're good.
as I
I'm only
see our
giving you a
guest in
hard
the
time.
background wiping
Some
his
people
nose.
get to me.
All right.
Well, it's going
So,
around. I mean, it's that
yeah,
time of year.
it definitely is, and I feel so bad for your son, dude. He can't seem to kick it.
Oh, Benny,
Yeah,
constantly vomiting.
yeah.
But on the upside, he's a lot like me in that regard, where he's just one and done. He couldn't care less afterwards.
Yep.
It's just
Just get it
mom
out
that
once,
loses it.
done and done. Hey, Icy,
Oh
thanks for
yeah, you
coming
always
in.
feel better. Purge.
Of course, of course. So let's jump into our sponsors here a little bit. I'm still we're tonight our guests are going to be Jack Kenna and Ellen MacNeil. I am on the side kind of troubleshooting with Ellen right now, trying to get her on. So if you see me distracted, that's why. But let's jump into our sponsors here real quick, and we'll fire those out right away. All right, let's see here.
The first annual Maine Paranormal and Horror Con is coming to Maine on September 6th and 7th at the Augusta Civic Center. Come meet your favorite paranormal investigators, cryptid hunters, and horror icons. Special guests include John Zaffis, the haunted collector from Sci-Fi, Jeff and Willie from Mountain Monsters, Bob Elmore Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, CJ Graham, also known as Jason Voorhees from Jason Lives Part 6, Ronnie LeBlanc from Expedition Bigfoot, and many more to be announced. Tickets are on sale now. Go to mainparahorror.com to get your tickets and VIP packages now. For more information, check out Maine Paranormal and Horror Con on Facebook and Instagram.
All right. And Ian and I will both be guests at that event in September up in Augusta, Maine, doing some live podcasting from the event
Yeah, buddy.
itself. Also promoting Compass Curiosities as well as Warner Paranormal Preservation Society, which fantastic segue right into our next sponsor, Warner Paranormal Preservation Society. We are an organization based out of the Rockland, Abington, Massachusetts area. We are in duty of 2 locations right now to help preserve and spread the history and the quote unquote spooky findings, I guess you could say, of these locations. We run multiple events. You're working on an event right now that is a very big undertaking, very, very big undertaking. Which once you get everything
So
set
we're
up
not
with
going to
that one,
announce anything for a couple more weeks.
yep,
I'm not actually really going to discuss that for another couple of weeks. I have a couple of things that need to line up and kind of coordinate, but I do have something hopefully that's going to be really interesting and very unique in the paranormal field, as
good.
well as New England. That's just going to be a nice little weekend getaway for folks. So very excited to be able to launch and announce that once everything kind of settles down just a little bit.
And of course, once that launches, you will definitely be hearing about it on the show here, as Mr. Moderator himself being the organizer of the event. We will be pushing that event quite hard on the show here. So I'm hoping some of the local listeners out there around, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, things like that, hopefully they come out and join us for a weekend.
I mean, Connecticut can stay home. I mean, I don't mind.
That's true. I mean, Connecticut. I mean, anybody from Connecticut, no offense, but offense meant. But I mean, you know. All right, go ahead and take it away, sir.
So Kimberly and Empowerment Photography, located out of Hanover, Massachusetts, specializes in the literal empowerment of women through photography and really just self-expression. She does actually have International Women's Day coming up. Check her out on Instagram or Facebook, or check her out at kimberlyandempowerment.com. You can either book your sessions there or come visit free to her International Women's Day event that will be held just a quick little 5-minute ride off of Route 3 in Massachusetts.
And Get
Me,
Margarated is making
just
its
me,
return.
just me. Eventually, I keep saying I'm going to return this week, and I always forget. And ironically enough, I committed myself to this Thursday, so it won't be this Thursday. Hopefully, it'll be next Thursday. But eventually, I'll be coming back.
Small Town Productions, Mr. Larry Eisler III out there doing what he does best. He's going to be all over the country this year doing events and workshops and lectures and things like that. Definitely some great times with him this past year in Gettysburg. First time meeting him, but I felt like I already knew him. Fantastic work on video promotions, audio promotions, anything like that. Anything you need done, definitely check him out. He's definitely a great asset to have in your back pocket for sure.
Oh, I'm in control. Sorry.
No, I got it.
Oh, there we go.
Just Traveling Boards of Wonders leads me right into the next one here, which is, as you saw, the Maine Paranormal and Horror Con going on September 6th and 7th up in Augusta, Maine. Jeff is the one that owns the Jeff Boards of Wonders Traveling Museum. It's Spirit Board Museum. He is the one organizing and putting on this event, and this is the ticket pricing right now. And we're gonna pound this event home until it comes up because the radio show is actually a sponsor of the event, and we will be at the event, and Jeff's a good friend of mine, so definitely going to do that. So if you buy your tickets online right now, VIP with the party, which is a full catered dinner, you get the meet and greet and everything like that, $120 a ticket. That is actually really not bad price for the ticket. There are two hotels.
And I do want to clarify too. Hold on, time out, pump the brakes. I really want to drive this home, guys. If you're coming for the weekend, it is a $60 difference to have your full VIP dinner. I've been married 20 odd years right now. I don't know an actual well catered dinner or well served dinner at any type of these events, whether it's a Paracon, a Comic-Con, business convention, or anything like that, that it's $60 a head for the dinner and the after party. That is wild to me that they were able to keep the price point so low. So if you guys are looking to come and if you are looking for the full weekend, I would definitely consider that because the bang for your buck there is just ridiculous.
For sure. And we have a great lineup that's going to be there, both local New England paranormal investigators and teams and things like that. But we also have a lot of the people from Get Haunted coming up. I know we got Rob and Sarah coming up. Danny's coming up. But I know we're bringing in people from PA, West Virginia, Virginia. It's some pretty good actors, pretty good faces. So for it being a first in Maine, it's definitely going to be an awesome, amazing time. So with that being said, we are at the end of our sponsors here. So I'm still trying to work in the background here with Ellen a little bit. So Ian, if you want to bring in our guest and everything, I'm going to try to get Ellen on here somehow.
Yeah, so with us so far, we have Jack Kenna waiting in the eaves. Jack, how are you this fine evening?
Good, gentlemen. How about yourselves?
I'm just going to pop off camera so it doesn't seem like I'm...
That's okay. Ellen does this to me every time, by the way. She convinces me to come on the shows with her, and then she doesn't come on.
And then the technical errors and issues, you know.
Oh, no, she really does have technical problems. She has no technical sense at all. She'll be the first to tell you that.
So is it that she's having technical problems, or technically she's the problem?
She's a problem, yes. Yeah. She would agree with that. She would agree with that. I always tell her,
so
get your daughter Sarah to help you before you go on.
So Jack, I know you probably don't know really anything about me at all. And that is
okay.
for very good reason.
Yeah.
Well, it's for a very good reason. I'm relatively new in the paranormal community. I've been kind of sideline investigating for years. I've had experiences since I was a kid and things like that. it wasn't until about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I really started increasing my activity in the field and things like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until probably earlier, I would probably say Q1, Q2 of last year, that I started interacting with the community as a whole. And one of my biggest things is, oh, do you see who that is over there? And my answer is always no, because I have no idea who anybody is, right? Like
I didn't
I'm
either. When I
kind
first
of,
started, yep,
yeah.
I knew a few people, three people, Jason, Grant, and John Zaffis. That was the only people I would recognize. That was it. Nobody else. I didn't know anything.
And so for me, one of the things I like to do is just to kind of go over what your resume is, what your pedigree is, what brought you into it a little bit, and just to share a little bit about how you do what you do and how that kind of makes you either stand out or a little bit different, or how you feel that you differentiate yourself in a field where the equipment is relatively standard, the practices are relatively universal. What do you bring to it that to make it your own?
I teach classes. I actually
Okay.
I teach several paranormal classes at a couple local colleges. That's not how I started off. I mean, I started off just like everybody else, just like you, right? Had an interest in it, did stuff as a kid, messing around and cemeteries and all that stuff, all trying to scare each other and all that stuff. But I had some experiences later on in life, and even as a kid, where I'd hear somebody call my name, sounded like my mother, and I'd go find my mother in the house. She goes, "I didn't call you." Turns out I found out many, many years later through a good psychic medium friend of mine. It was my grandmother, my mother's mother, that would call my name.
Oh,
Still
okay.
does to this day. Every so often, it's like, it's okay. I'm here. I hear you. It's okay. It's in my house. I'm in the house I grew up in still. It was on.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It was on one of the shows, as a matter of fact, because of an experience I had at 17, where I got out of the paranormal completely because it scared the Jesus out of me. So I actually left. I didn't get back into it, and I forgot about what that had happened to me, which had to do with something demonic and all that. But I just got away from it all, and I'd forgotten about it. And then Ghost Hunters came out, and everybody's watching that, and a lot of people got back into it then, or got into it then.
Yep.
And that's when I met Ellen and Spirits of New England at one of their events. And actually, we had talked online at one of their, I think it was Beyond Reality chat forum. We met, and then one of the events with Jason and Grant. And
this was back in like the AOL chat room days.
Yeah. It was just an online chat room. It may have been AOL. I can't even remember. It was a long, long time ago. So
yeah.
So anyways,
update your live journal
with Ellen and them, and they asked me to be on their team, and it's kind of been history from there. So I mean, we learned a lot from those guys, from Jason, Grant, and them, and then many years later, we started doing our own thing, getting into mostly residential cases. And we also did Ellen, she'd shoot me if I didn't mention it, even though she's not on. I know this. We got to do, she reached out to the USS Constitution there in Massachusetts, Charlestown, and they let us do it. We were the very first team to investigate the USS Constitution. And the funny thing
that's so cool. I mean, being in the area, like I think I went on probably 3 or 4 school field trips to the Constitution.
Yeah. We were the very first ones, just because Ellen reached out to them, and they're like, "You guys do that stuff? Yeah, we have stuff going on. Can you check out the ship for us?" So we did. And then at one of the events we were presenting, Joe Chin was there, Ghost Hunters, saw it. 6 months later, after that, Ghost Hunters is going on to investigate it, because they saw what we captured. And I will say this: we captured a lot more than they did. Of course,
but
we didn't
know what?
It's not a competition.
Cameramen following us around either, so
Right.
That's honestly what shows the great things about the field, though, too, is like you find one team that's like what we're doing up here in Rockland. You have one team that goes into this location, and then all of a sudden you have all this activity, and then you share it out to everybody, and then next thing you know, you're having this person from this show, that person from this show coming in and investigating. And putting
great.
more exposure on those places.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah.
We were really lucky to have Jason out at one of our locations the other day. So
Oh,
you
cool.
know,
Yeah.
it's
I still watch his YouTube show occasionally and stuff like that when I have time.
but you
But
actually
then
brought
again,
up a couple of things here, if you don't mind.
yeah, yeah.
Because I don't want to forget that I have questions on it. So you brought up that you do primarily residential.
Yes, that's what
And then-
Spirits had always done. Yes.
And so you also brought up that you had kind of a demonic experience.
I did as a kid.
I don't want to talk up and rehash that experience for you whatsoever. If you want to talk about it, you can, but
They can
I
watch.
don't wanna-
It was done as one of the shows for Our House Media did. Was I think the show was called my paranormal something. I forget. My worst. I forget. I have to look it up. But it's
So-
on Discovery Plus. Still, you can look it up. You can find it. You'll see it. It's like my worst paranormal nightmare or something like that. I forget.
Right.
I was one of the investigators they interviewed. There was a couple others. Dan Class was another one they interviewed for his experiences. So, anyways, but it's on there. It's on one of those shows. People can check it out if they want. I've talked about it before. So,
All right.
Yeah.
So I actually have questions around both of those because, unlike most people in the paranormal, I have very strong opinions.
Yeah. It's okay.
That's
No,
putting it
totally.
lightly.
No.
That's putting it lightly.
That was a total joke.
We all have opinions,
Because and
It's good that we do.
but I've had the opportunity to do residentials.
Yeah.
And I generally have a no thank you approach to that.
It's okay.
Like I
It's not for.
and it's not. Well, I think my main question around this is if you're doing residentials as your primary, how do you balance? Because you're going into a situation, I think, automatically where there's an expectation that you are definitely going to find evidence of exactly what they called you out for, right?
No, not for me.
You know,
No.
if someone, well, what I'm saying is the people inviting you out or the people having you come out
They have
a degree of expectation. Yeah, that's what I mean.
They do.
Is I'm going to call you out because I think my bar is haunted, or my house is haunted, or what have you. And then you get out there and you're like, oh no, you just have radiated heat from the 70s, and that banging in your walls is a loose radiator line.
Yeah, your pipes.
Now you have a, well, I'm not crazy situation. And it's like, well, no, you're not.
You are
but if you're
hearing
gonna
something,
deny-
just not what you think you're hearing.
Yeah, well, there's a process we
Right.
go through before we even take a case. Anyway, we learned this from Jason
Okay.
Green, TAPS. Right? We have a 13-page form they have to fill out. It covers everything from what are you experiencing, your location, what are you experiencing, what kind of medications are you taking, some history of the house.
I was going to ask, are there questions about the person's mental health?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes. And you'd be surprised, we tell people, you need to fill this out first before I'm even going to talk to you. I'm not coming out at all unless you do fill it out. And you'd be
We had
surprised.
something like that.
Well, people who really want your help, you get that thing back in 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
People who just like, oh, I really just, they really don't have anything going on. They just want to meet some people from the paranormal. You never get that back.
But it's always, and Ellen just joined us, but I'm going to touch on this really quick before we bring her in. But my old group, when I was in Ohio, we had a questionnaire form like that. Any medical issues, any mental health issues, what medications are you taking?
Yep.
Is anybody doing illicit drugs? Are you drinking? Things like that. And it's always hard for us because you have to go in and feel those people out to see if they're actually lying or not.
You gotta
And it's like
trust
we
them on
almost
phone.
become detectives.
Yep. And after we get the form, we all review it in the team. We talk about it. I'll call them on the phone and talk to them for 2-3 hours to decide if we're going to go. But usually, I would tell you this. We've been, with everybody who sent us back a form, we went to 100% of those cases. In every one of those cases, there was something paranormal going on. Not all of it. And that's where you got to walk them back. And one of the things we always tell them and I always tell them is, look, I'm just going to be totally honest with you and tell you the truth of what I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what I really think is going on. But what I also found is in every single one of those cases, the individual, or one or two individuals, usually one individual, at least in the home, the person who reached out, who says they're having activity, also had something very, very bad happen to them in their past. Family rape, drugs, maybe both, all these different things. And what I think is going on, why they end up with activity of some kind, is because negativity attracts negativity. And what you
Yes,
find
it does.
out is they never went for help for these problems. They just said, "Well, no, I just kind of took care of it myself." No, you didn't. All you did was bury it. So that stuff comes back up. You know,
Well, and that I think
activity is
kind of
attracted
leads
to
into the
negativity.
second part of my question on that
Yeah,
is when you do find these kind of activities and you do end up unearthing the traumas that kind of really do, I think there's definitely a correlation between um, early life traumas and the ability to perceive
yeah,
or attract
yeah,
the paranormal.
yeah. I
I
agree with
guess
you.
there's a broader ethical question that I struggle with
But
at what point were you drawing the line between, you know, I'm a paranormal investigator, I think there's something going on here, and
yeah,
now you've fallen quite literally headlong into a mental health issue very
well,
unintentionally.
right, right. But here's the other thing that happens. We sit down with them when we first meet and we talk to them. And before we even investigate, it's like, look, I'm going to tell you something that if there is something going on, if I do find something going on, you're going to have to become an active participant in resolving your own haunting. That
Of
scares them
course.
from the haunting.
And let me bring Ellen on here real quick because she's
Yeah,
part
go
of
ahead.
this
Go
process
ahead.
as well.
Yeah. And then I'll define what that means.
Well, it's
Hello,
about
Ellen.
time you guys got on here.
But yeah. You've been waiting on us. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been trashing me. I can tell. I know you.
I only told the truth.
This is just the
Yeah.
green room.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That you are not technically inclined.
The tech skills of a Q-tip. What was that?
Oh, yeah. I didn't say that, but basically, yes, I did say that. Yeah. But so I don't
God
know if
bless
Ellen heard
Sarah.
this, but
Hi,
let me just finish with that thought of
Yeah, go ahead.
one of the things we tell clients when we first meet with them and stuff, and there is mental health issues going on, is we tell them, look, you need to go and get and see a therapist. You need to find a psychiatrist or a therapist or somebody. We can try to help you find somebody, but you've got to go because you have these unresolved issues. You've never told any. Matter of fact, half the time they've never told anybody what happened to it but us, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I always find. I guess it's easier to tell a stranger than it is to talk to your own family about it, right? So, but that
Well,
is
your
one of
family
the
might have been involved.
is to
Yep.
get help. Yeah, that is one of the things we guide them to. I mean, we're not psychiatrists, psychologists. They can talk to us, but I can't help you really. You got to go get help,
Right.
and a lot of times they will. I would say 95% of the time they will go. You got a 5% that won't, and you can't
And
Well,
help.
that's the
so
thing.
that's really good to hear. There's so
Go ahead, Ian.
many investigators that I've seen. Sorry, I'll keep talking over you all night. There's so many investigators I've seen, and it's, oh well, you got a demon. Good
Yeah,
luck. And so it's like, well, yeah, their demons are actually the trauma that they're not resolving in themselves.
right.
And awesome, congratulations, you just got like a 3-minute video clip for your YouTube, and now you're a demonologist. So that's awesome for you,
Yeah,
bully for you.
yeah. Another one.
Um,
Ellen and I know people like
yeah,
that.
Oh, we just love demonologists. Yeah.
There's a few we actually do love, but yeah, there's a lot that we like.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Where'd you get that degree from? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Same place I got my license, the
the
Cracker
Church
Jack
of the
box.
Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Yeah.
Look, I study demonology, and I'm not even nowhere near anything, but I do study it, But I'm not a demonologist. I just
And that's the point I was going to make is like if you're going out to do an investigating and you're doing public locations and your old prisons, your insane asylums, things like that.
yeah,
That's one thing.
Yeah.
You're going out and you're taking the lives of other people doing residential cases and private cases and things like that. We really, as investigators, wear very many hats because not only are we going to these locations to confirm or deny that they have activity going on, if we have to deny it, we have a list of, hey, here's a clinical psychologist. Here is this help, this may help you. We have those resources in our back pocket to be able to use.
That's why Ellen and I will tell you, if this isn't residential cases isn't for everybody.
No.
It's not, and it takes some unique people to be able to handle residential cases because they can get. Ellen will tell you, right, Ellen? They can get kind of
Can you stay
emotional.
close? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I said that residential cases, dealing with residential cases, can get rather emotional. So it's not for everybody to deal with.
No, most people when they're like, oh, well, I just want to be on TV and I want to be famous and I want to be popular and I want everybody to love me. And it's like when you do residential, you can't have an ego like that.
No.
You are number one. If somebody looks at I'm sorry, my voice is in and out.
Take your time.
We
Yeah,
can hear you.
get there faster.
No.
When people look at our website, that is the biggest compliment that they look at our website and they feel comfortable with us. We don't have wolves screaming on our phones. We don't have things jumping out at you on the website.
Right.
It's like we're going to be in your house.
Yep.
I don't want you to be afraid of us more than you are of what's going on in your house. And you have to sit and listen to people. And, whether you think they're full of it or not, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we present a professional website.
You got to trust. You got to trust us, and we have to trust you. So if you're just in it for the attention and people that invite a team over, and remember the team that they went to investigate, and the people are having a party because they're having ghost hunting people come to their house, and
Yeah.
and they drove hours to get there, and it was just a joke to them.
Yeah.
I mean, to sit down and say, I like these people. They're low key. They look like they're soft as shit. And they're just, I can talk to them.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be a trust issue.
Right.
You have somebody that's a total stranger to you that is reaching out to you,
Mm-hmm.
not reaching out to a TV show, not doing this. They're reaching out to you because they liked your website and they felt comfortable. And we explain what we do, how we do it, why we do it. And we're there for the long haul. I mean, we've been doing this for 15 years now.
Probably.
And we still keep in touch with clients.
Yep.
They know we're here for them. You trusted us, we trust you. If you need us, we're going to help you.
The last residential case I was on, I wasn't even supposed to be there. I was brought in as an outside person to help out with the case. And this was a multiple time location that this group had been to, and they just wanted to bring in a fresh set of eyes. Our investigation, the homeowner was there. I had never been there. I read some of the previous investigations and things. But I spent 3 hours of the investigation literally sitting in the kitchen talking to the homeowner.
Yeah.
Just sitting there talking, listening,
Yeah.
and picking up on the little subtle things that may not click to her, but from somebody from the outside is going, okay, these can be related. This,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and my team was out there. I can't even really say my team because I was part of this team. But they were doing their investigation, doing what they needed to do, and I was pretty much playing psychologist and finding out like everything, family history, like. And once you sit there and talk to somebody, get them to open up, everything just flows so freely to them. Once you get that trust,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot
they're
of what
telling
Ellen
you
does.
things.
Yeah, that's a lot of what Ellen does on the team. She'll sit and talk with the clients for a long time. You know?
Well, you
Yep.
know what the big issue is that these people cannot talk to their friends, cannot talk to their family. They're going to get ridiculed, and for them to have a beautiful face like this. Oh, I meant Jack. But to have somebody to
Oh, this is
talk to and listen to you and not judge.
Yeah.
You know, tell me everything, no matter how little
Mhm.
you think it is, how unimportant it is. It all connects.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes
Yep.
that's enough. Sometimes that's enough to help them.
Yeah.
Just imagine this showing up and being
Understanding of
like,
what's
"Hey, I'm
going
here."
on. Yeah. They just want understanding of what's going on sometimes.
No, I want Ian. He's cute.
Yeah, exactly, right?
There you go.
Gonna bring you on the team, Ian.
Yeah.
The wife's gonna have something to say about that. Not allowed to get compliments.
Yeah. Oh, it's all
there you
Oh,
right.
go.
you're
That's
in that club
There you
too?
go. What's that?
Mrs.
I said
Ian,
you're in
I'm
that club.
getting, so don't worry about it. I'd only break his heart anyway. No,
Well,
not
now
to
she might
worry.
let you near me.
Oh,
Just to see it happen.
He'll feel
Uh,
something.
does feel something.
Feels it. Yeah.
But
Man.
I do, if you guys don't mind, I really do want to kind of, and I love asking these questions because, again, I'm so narrow and kind of limited in my exposure to the greater paranormal community as a whole. When I hear demonologist, right, like, and I know we kind of laughed that off a little while ago. Are you, and I guess this is my big question for the paranormal field in general, are we talking like the Judeo-Christian demons, or are we like that's my big question, I think, because every time I hear demonologist, I like I was raised Catholic. I decided to rebel against the catechism by reading the Bible. Um, Anybody raised Catholic can
Good for
get
you.
that joke.
Yeah, I hear you.
Um, but there's 144 demons. When you read the Old Testament and there's the fall of the angels, there's the 12 choirs of 12 that fall. So the 12 seraphim fall. Technically 145 because Lucifer kicked off the whole shebang. And it's just when I hear like, oh, this person has a demonic possession, or their house is plagued by a demon, I struggle to understand in the grand scheme of the divine war, right? Like between of heaven and hell and earth in between,
Right.
the significance of Susan from Idaho, that when you have 144 agents, she's one that they're going to go after. Or, Bob from, Duxbury, Massachusetts. It just doesn't sit like these aren't. When I think of the grand corruption of humanity, I would aim higher if there was only 144 of us. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Let me try to.
So when we talk demonology, we talk demons.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well,
Go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
let me say this. The word in the paranormal community, the word demon is thrown around way too much. First of all, because usually things
Agreed.
aren't.
Yeah.
There's hauntings that just are not demonic. Okay, but everybody says it's a demon. It's a demon. They all, because it's like, oh, exciting, whatever. They're trying to, I don't know, show themselves off to people. I guess I don't.
And incredibly destructive for some locations.
Yes, that too. But in regards to what you're asking about, it goes back to what I was talking to you about before. Why does a demon pick on Susan from Sarasota? Okay, all right. It can be this. It can be exactly what I was talking about before when we do our research and we gain all this information. Something extremely bad happened to that individual when they were young. It usually starts when they're young. Either, like I said, family rape, which can lead to drugs, which can lead to all this stuff. And demons tend to search out the weakest link. Because somebody who's strong in their faith, it's going to be hard for a demon to corrupt or to corrupt others around them. Okay? So they search out the weakest links. This is what I found, anyway. And I have had some actual demonic cases, right? Including one possession case. And usually what you find is this person had some terrible, terrible things happen. It was perpetrated by somebody else who also turns out, you find out, had terrible things happen to them when they were younger. And that demonic can attach at some point. I had a case where one individual had some terrible things happen to her. She committed suicide. Somehow they brought her back. She was dead. But she came back, and she actually described hell as hell is been described by demons to exorcists, which is, it's not what we think it is. It's the absence of everything. It's a black void. You see nothing. You are.
Well, Dante's Inferno did a number on the Judeo-Christian perspective of hell.
Yeah. Well, the truth hell is you are disconnected from everything, including God. But she was there, and she screamed for God to hear her and bring her back. And all of a sudden, she came back. And I said,
Go ahead. I was just sending him a message.
Anyways,
that
what
he was
happened
lagging.
there? What I believe happened there, it wasn't God that brought her back. It was a demon that brought her back, because demons want out of hell too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that demon brought her back to get out itself. Whatever the circumstances were that made that possible, I don't know. But she had problems after that in her life, terrible problems after that throughout her entire life, to where it finally led up to us, and it ended up, it was like an attachment to her whole life, because she stayed close to her faith. So I don't think it was ever able to actually possess her, but it definitely did things to her. But it ended up possessing her daughter.
Oh, wow.
Because her daughter turned towards witchcraft and all these other things, using Ouija boards, and she was involved with friends that weren't really great friends and stuff like that. And she ended up with an actual possession. And you say, well, how do you know that? Well, there's a lot that goes into that. But one of the things was, first night we were there, the girl was in, just say, four winds, because she was having all these supposed mental issues. But drugs didn't work. None of the drugs worked on her to stabilize her. She was always having issues, always having problems. But the night we first got to the house, and she was in four winds, she called the house, said to her mother, "What are those people doing there?" She didn't know we were even coming.
She had no knowledge you were going to be there.
No. So it's preternatural knowledge. When she finally was back home and stuff, we'd use silent prayer, and she would start reacting to that. So you're saying a prayer in your head. Like I'd use Hail Mary, and she would start screaming of having a terrible headache and all these problems. And when I stopped, it would go away. I'd start again, it would start up again. These are just different things you keep trying to do, different things, and it took a year just to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there are
until we turned to an exorcist to get involved.
Yeah, there are things that are just too broad to be coincidences.
But in regards to Ian's question, I think it's, why did they go after these? Like, who's Susan from Sarasota? Well, she had these terrible problems, and something attached itself to her. At some point, somewhere, she was either, usually find, they were involved with friends who were doing a Ouija board when they were kids.
Yep.
And that's maybe when it happened, or during the process of it happening, the other person had an attachment that moved to her.
Now that actually brings up an interesting thing. Do you think, in your opinion, I mean, I've been doing this for...
lost Ian there, so.
Yeah, he's restarting his computer and router because he actually just texted me and said, "I guess this is a conversation I'm not supposed to have."
I was just gonna say he maybe isn't supposed to hear this, but
Yeah,
if
because
he ever
yeah,
wants
he's
to, he can call me directly and we'll talk.
right. But do you think attachments and possessions are kind of laying low in somebody until it sees its opportunity to take its full strike? Like, because I've had an attachment before that damn near killed me,
Yeah, in
honestly.
some cases, yes. In some cases, yes. Sometimes it takes time for the attachment to
Oh
be
yeah.
able to get enough energy to finally really hammer in on them. Let's put it that way.
And in the I guess in the documented cases that you've done in the route of whether it be a possession or an attachment or where things get extreme and you have to call an exorcist. Um
Only once.
how okay, yeah, I was gonna say,
Only
h-
once.
how many of these cases have you dealt with that people are like, oh no, I'm possessed, and it's actually just I don't want to downplay and say just a simple possess or a simple attachment. Because regardless, attachments
Or,
are not
or,
fun to have.
or they don't have an attachment at all.
Exactly,
Right, Ellen?
exactly.
Uh-huh.
I
Let
know
Ellen just
people like
take
that.
this
Trust
one a
me.
little bit. I've been doing all the talking. Let Ellen respond.
No,
No,
yeah,
that's all
yeah.
right. I can hardly talk anyway.
All right, Ellen. Well, I believe if I'm correct, you were able to take part in one of the only teams that was actually able to investigate this historic location. And not a lot of people know about this location because they don't do their history research. The location I am referring to is Maplecroft.
Oh, yeah. That's
I didn't get to go, so you get to tell them all about it.
yeah, I
So for those out there, before you start, Ellen, before I'll let you gather your thoughts real quick there. For anybody out there that does not know what Maplecroft is located in Fall River, Massachusetts, literally right down the street from the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast. Um, Maplecroft, Maplecroft was the home of Lizzie and her sister after the trial, and where she ended up living until she passed away. So, you guys were able to get in there right before I believe it was sold to a private owner, I want to say. So that's never going to be able to be investigated again unless these owners
right.
are willing to open it up.
Yeah.
But how was that? Like, because I know you've probably done Lizzie Borden's before.
Oh yeah.
Is there an energy difference between the two locations? Because they are both connected to each other.
The Maplecroft was so incredibly gorgeous.
Hmm.
And I was trying so hard not to steal all the butter churns and the spinning wheels and everything, but
Well, I believe I saw the pictures. That it still has the original woodwork in it.
yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous. Um, as Jack can tell you, I'm the dead one on the team. I don't feel anything.
You even gave her a T-shirt that says "Not Psychic" on it.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, at least she's not one of those ones running around out there claiming to be psychic.
Oh my
True.
God, yeah. I mean, I just like Jack and my daughter Sarah will be like, "Oh my God, look at me! Look at the goosebumps on my arms! Look at the hair standing up! Oh my God, did you hear that? Did you see that?" No,
And you're just sitting there, just like,
yeah.
no.
I'm as my friends would tell you, I'm the mama bear. I'm the protector. I'm
Hmm.
making sure my my team is safe and secure and everything, and I'm too busy watching stuff that people normally don't watch. At Maplecroft, I just felt hey,
Oh my God, we switched topics and he's
yeah,
back and running
he's
fine.
See
back
that?
again.
See that? He's not
Um,
supposed to hear that.
Um,
I I
so
felt very sad there.
weird. Sorry, I apologize, Ellen. Continue.
What what did you do now?
Continue,
Um,
Ellen. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Continue.
get back
I
on Maplecroft.
I didn't feel anything at Maplecroft, but I felt one part of me felt sad just for the history of it.
Yeah.
But the other part of me felt like if she was innocent, if this was where she was supposed to be, what a beautiful place to be. And I hope that she found happiness there and
Yeah.
comfort. Um, it was quite an experience, but just
And what happened to Sarah, though?
you're imagine what happened to Sarah. She was like, "Screw you! You're an idiot. You shouldn't be allowed on a computer." And that, that was the last I heard of her.
No,
It's funny.
Maplecroft. She had an experience at Maplecroft.
Huh?
Sarah, your daughter, she had an experience at Maplecroft.
Yes. They were talking about Lizzie Borden's father, and did she get kicked or punched or
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Um,
I think she got punched. Yeah.
yeah, and she had a bad reaction at the Lizzie Borden house too.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, she had a crazy experience there at Maplecroft.
yeah, it was just Sarah's very laid back, low key,
Yeah.
very observant, and she got punched. She also got tripped on the USS Salem. I don't know.
It's not hard to trip up at the USS Salem, though.
Yeah, I know.
That place is so.
I mean,
No,
I
she
normally.
was sitting at a table at
Oh.
the chairs, and something not nudged her, like moved her
Yeah,
foot.
we were in the
And
kitchen,
nobody was walking
and
by.
we were leaning over one of the sinks, listening, and all of a sudden she oh, there goes my voice. Come on, stop it! All of a sudden she just starts going flying, and I'm like, what the hell? And she turned around, and she's like, something just, because she had her feet out behind her, and she said something just tripped over my feet, and just wiped her
She was
out.
just standing there. She was just standing there.
Now this leads into a perfect segue into this, because one of the questions I had for you is, you have all these investigators that are storied in the history of the paranormal field, that are like, the spirits know I'm coming to a location, or they're doing something to try to keep me away. They're, they know I'm coming. Ian, I think you just had a particular instance with that, when it would not allow you to be part of that conversation.
Yeah, I've had some.
Stuff happens. Yeah.
I've had some.
I blame
weird-
Microsoft for that one. I don't blame anything paranormal. That was
Microsoft, Bill Gates.
No.
Yeah.
I got that blue screen of it's time for your update. You pushed it off.
Oh no,
we're not so sure on this end, Ian.
It's funny how
weird shit happens.
People will say, "Are you afraid of bringing something home with you?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Hell no!" Like I said, I'm Mama Bear. I am the Terminator. I am the protector. Before we leave anywhere, I said, "You want to come home with us? Here's the deal. You change the cat's pot, you do the dishes, and we'll talk."
You're paying a third of rent. You're paying a third of rent.
Yeah, right. Do your own laundry.
Well, they never follow her home.
I was like, God,
the electric bills are high. If you're going to turn a light on, you better turn it off.
Yeah, I'm just like, listen.
So I've had this conversation with folks before about the attachments and carrying things home.
Yeah.
And although I don't have a storied lineage, as Russ would say, in the paranormal, I have some pretty sound theories, I think, around this. And one of the big things that I've noticed is, more often than not, folks that never get an attachment or never have anything follow them home are the ones that are most secure in their own personal self-identity and their own flaws. They're the most self-aware people.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, like, when I go into a place, my wife constantly says, like, don't bring anything home, right? Because that's her big fear. She's terrified we're going to bring something home.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, look, if something is dumb enough to sign up for this ride, the amount of self-reflection I'm going to be doing, I now have a second entity to really reflect on.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to face some harsh truths about themselves if they decide to come
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And I feel like that almost is the real armor against attachments, because
Uh-oh.
you
The wrist
don't,
finger.
when you fully know you and you're dealing with something that's preternatural, supernatural, or whatever the one you use as,
Yeah.
there's
Excuse me.
undoubtedly something that has detached them from the natural order that I think would,
Yeah.
someone that's that self-aware would be almost scary to a being that's living outside of their order. And so there's something that they're going to have to accept, being around someone that is so like accepting of themselves, that really just kind of eliminate their existence almost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we,
Like
yeah,
like a,
we
a
that's a good
self-aware
way of
ghost that knows they're dead.
yeah.
yeah. Well,
Go ahead,
it
Russ.
goes back to like I was saying, you have to have strength in you have to be strong in your faith, and that can be faith in yourself or in how you perceive yourself or the world, or in your faith. I don't talk about religion; I talk about faith. Um, so yeah, a
And I
stronger,
love that you make that
less
distinction,
likely,
because there,
a stronger internal individual is less likely to get an attachment. Yes, that's absolutely.
No, when,
and I
when we
love that you
do,
make that distinction, Jack, because knowledge of your doctrine lives in your head,
Yeah.
and knowledge of your faith lives in your core. Like
Yes. Yeah.
it's two very, very different things. So like
And
the
also,
fact that I have the New Testament memorized does not make me faithful. It makes me educated.
yes, yes,
So
yes. That's right.
yeah.
That's
when
absolutely
we
right.
do I'm sorry, Russell. Let me just.
No, go
I
ahead.
don't want to
Yeah, go ahead.
forget. When we do, when we start an investigation, Russ, stop running away. There he is.
No, no, no. I
Um,
kicked him out. I kicked him out.
oh, okay.
Keep going, Ellen.
He keeps
I
trying to
like to.
talk,
I like
Ellen. No
to
one's
give
here
a.
to listen to him.
I kind
We're
of
here to
set
listen to you.
rules when we start doing stuff. First thing we do is be like, listen, we're here to help you, help these homeowners. We want to find out what's going on in this house. Um,
Mm.
you can't not respect it. You know, we don't go in and do a ghost adventurers. Oh, we're gonna provoke and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. You know, it's like, Zach, shut up. The guy drives me insane.
Holy
We
shit.
let him know. We let whatever spirit is there know that we're there out of respect. We're as curious about them as they are about us. You know, why
I
are
just
you here?
hold on.
Well,
This is
why are you
this
here?
is an interesting thing. I just had a fucking spider. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it,
Oh,
just
Yeah.
lower like an inch in front of my face. Like
wow.
it came right down in front
That's
of me.
big.
Nice big daddy long leg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't show that to my friend Carly. She'll freak out.
Jesus.
Ellen will or Sarah will probably adopt it though.
I
Ian,
know.
you're
Yeah.
just not
Daughter
supposed to do the
Sarah will
show
adopt
tonight.
it. Yeah.
Oh, I know it. Well, you know,
I mean,
We used to have a
I'm
tarantula.
sick, so I couldn't do my burlesque dance for you. Thank God for that. But, you know, if you start off an investigation with respect,
Yeah.
and lay the ground rules and say, this is why we're here. I hope that you trust us and we can help you, because you're scaring the hell out of the homeowners, you're scaring the kids, and we can't have that.
Yeah.
You know, let's find out what's going on. And if you're disrespectful and you're not going to cooperate with us, we will get somebody to come and send you on.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
that's not our
There's things we
intentions
can
right
do
now,
to
but we want to help you too. You know,
yeah, we do that. We do talk to spirits with respect, and because they were just people too, and they had their own problems, their own
Yeah.
issues, and they may still have them. So, we talk to them, and one of the things we try to do.
Ian, behind you,
Look,
there's
we're
a
here
big
to talk to you.
tentacle.
What would you like to talk about? What do you want to tell us?
Oh no, it's a testicle. No, it's a tentacle. Never mind.
Leave it to Ellen.
He's like, what?
So, anyways, that's
Both of
what
which
we're
are from
trying
adult
to,
films.
we're trying to reach
So,
out and get them to talk
So,
to us.
Russ, what were you trying to say before I kept interrupting you?
No, you know how there's all these these people out there that are like, oh, if you unequivocally prove that the paranormal exists, we'll pay you $1 million or $10 million, or all these things that are out there. I just figured it out in regards to attachments and things like that, and Ian mentioning that the spirit is also going to do a lot of self-reflection and everything like that as an attachment. Ian's going to be the person that proves the paranormal is real because he's going to send his freaking attachment to the goddamn therapy.
Yeah.
The spirit's just going to be like, I'm out. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like your background there, Ian.
the way my evening's going, I might as well change my background. Between being kicked off, having a spider drop into my face, like it's an evening.
Yeah.
Might as well just have the chair drop on you. You'll have the trifecta.
Right.
So, all right, guys. Well, we're coming towards the end of the show. Go ahead for the last 3 minutes here. Plug yourselves. Tell people where they can find you. If you're still doing residential cases, like what you guys are doing. If you have a younger team you're bringing in to kind of take over reins when you guys decide to hang up the hats.
So you're confirming that I'm older than God. All right.
Yeah.
I'll remember that.
Right. Yeah. So Ellen, Jack, who's taking over when you guys die later this year? Apparently, is Russ's question.
Wow. Feeling the love.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
I thought we were going to be friends.
We die. We're taking Russ with us.
No, but I will clarify. So as time moves on and we see these new generations coming into the field and younger folks really kind of embracing some of the older methods and really like the mission statements of some of the folks that came before, what are some of the things you look forward to seeing in the folks that are coming up in your own organization that are going to be taking the reins moving forward?
Well, I have not been healthy, and I have slowed down very much, which pisses me off royally. So I am prouder than hell to see Jack teaching students, even though he's in New York, how to do this right, how to investigate properly. And he will, because I'm useless with diabetes and arthritis and everything else I've got going on right now. Jack will call Sarah and say, hey, I got an investigation. You want to come? And off they go. And I just feel like spirits will always continue.
Yeah.
Well,
it does. I mean,
and they will learn the correct ways to do stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Ellen,
we have a co-team now, which is one I created, which is called Rensselaer Paranormal Research, or REAPER for short. And that team got built out of me teaching classes. Basically, I kind of picked the best of the best out of my students to build my team with. So, but I am also teaching, when I teach the classes, I could do Paranormal 101, which is just an introductory. We have an advanced paranormal. I'm actually now doing a psychic course on psychic abilities. So, but what I'm teaching them is how to work together as a team. So when they come in, I'll take up to 16 students at a time and break them into 2 teams and teach them how to be a team together. So whether they want to be a team, when the classes are done, they now all know each other. They can go out and do investigations together, whether they want to do residential cases or whether they just want to go investigate places together, like Rolling Hills or these other places. It's fine, but they now know how to work together as a team, how Spirits has always done it. I teach them our method.
We've had members
stuff and
come and go, didn't work out.
Trying to carry on our Spirits team. How do you want to say it? Our soul, so to speak, of how we always did it and how we approach things, so that it can carry on And
Your
also time.
knowledge and intent, you want to pass
Yeah,
that on to a younger
yes,
generation.
and also kind of teach them that there's some basic ways to approach things and do things to bring some form of stability within the paranormal community. Now, that doesn't mean I don't teach them to think outside the box, because I do. Like,
Yeah, but you also had
influence
like
each other, reach out to each other, talk about ideas, but here's some basics to follow, and here's some things to think about. And
you
part
also
of it is also spiritual protection.
you also did a very good thing, but you had a real smart ass in one of your classes, and he was too good for this and too screw him. Had to come after me. You taught him what a team is.
Yeah.
It's not it's not the ego. I know this, I know everything. Just because you're teaching me doesn't mean that you're right and all this stuff. You nipped him in the bud, and that was good.
Well, yeah, he thought he should be teaching my classes, and he was taking my one-on-one class. So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that
Gotta love
you
that.
always run into sometimes individuals like that, and you just got to say, hey, put your ego aside. If you don't think I have anything to teach you, why don't you take the class for anyway? And and it's not all about, see, for some people it's all about the equipment and watching it light up. And it's like, no, that rarely happens, number one. And most of what you're going to get will be EVPs. And he did finally find that out.
Oh, Jack,
I'd
I'd love to have you over at Hard Stuff if you think that the equipment will rarely light up.
Well, there's places it will.
I'd love to have you.
There's places it will, but when you start doing residential cases and going to some other places, it doesn't always happen. And if you're doing it, and a lot of people are thinking they're doing it because they're going to hold events and, have something to show people, right? But there is locations where, yes, it will, right? And then there's other locations, most locations, that doesn't happen too much, right? And things are subtle. Things are more subtle. You may have something happen. You may have something light up, but it's about, you're really looking for, when that happens, what else did you capture? Did you get an EVP? Did you get something else? Did you have a personal experience? I mean, equipment doesn't always work. I mean, it doesn't. Well, it works, but it doesn't always interact. The spirit doesn't always interact. Okay, but you will get EVPs. I would say 90% of what you get is an EVP, realistically. Until, like, maybe you're talking about, you're in a location where they now know you.
Oh
and
God,
they
yeah.
want to communicate with you. That's the difference.
And we experience that at the hall all the time because they've gotten used to us being there and everything.
Yeah,
That it's like
they know who you are.
Yeah.
He had some chick flirt with him at the Dean Winthrop post. Hello, Jack.
Yeah, I had that happen. Yeah.
I said, really?
EVP, woman's voice. Hello, Jack. Like,
can't take Jack anywhere, can you?
No, I can't.
I've gotten a couple of high Ellens, but
it really is
I've never
true,
got
though.
that. Hello, Jack.
It's genuinely true, because we're in the Hard Stuff Hall so frequently, and it's very rarely that, because we host we have folks come in and rent the hall, and they do their investigations, and one of us is always there, and almost every single time I'm there, someone on the second or third floor is like, "Oh, Ian came through the spirit box," or they had doing an Estes and it came up. And our fearless leader, Matt Warner, is pretty universally panned.
Is that the guy with the pizza on his face? I think
yes, it is. Yes,
wonderful. I love him.
All right, settle down, Ellen. All right,
I know what I see.
Settle down.
I see it.
Love the sweatshirt.
No, and it's he gets called out a lot at that location.
Do you need a moment, Ellen? Do we need to remove you?
Yeah, take her off for a second. Getting overheated.
No, the shower's too far.
So it's ironic. I love hanging around with Matt because we're such a weird dichotomy. Is he looks how I act, and I act how he looks, and so, or he acts how I look, and I act how he looks. So you look at him and you're like, oh, he's probably going to be like a kind of a maniac. and he's not. He's just this like even keel, very thoughtful person that like is just genuine and like very chill and just very balanced. And then I come in like Chris Farley from a 90s SNL sketch, just like blowing up the
11 o'clock at night, that tree
And
needs
it-
to come
Do
down.
the Chippendale dance for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's me. That is 1,000% me.
That's awesome.
I'll have
Yeah. To come out and investigate what you guys
But like Russ brought up, I do bonfires at my house pretty often. And we had an evening about, I don't know, it had to have been a year and a half ago or so. And we had everybody over and we were running out of firewood. And I've had this single birch tree standing in my yard since I bought the house. And I hate birch. I understand its value. I understand its holistic benefits and everything like that. I just don't like the way birch trees look. And so at about 11:30 at night, I went into my garage and grabbed my chainsaw and downed this 60-foot birch tree. And then just started throwing chunks of it in the fire. Yeah.
You needed more firewood.
And so, yeah. And so it's always this weird little dichotomy between he and I, where he's just
The fact that Ian acted like literally the fact that Ian acted like it was no big deal, nothing, that everybody drops trees at 11:30 at night, and
it wasn't. To be fair, in the defense of my neighbors, I used my electric chainsaw, not my gas powered. So it was not loud. It was not obnoxious.
It was only half as loud. It was only half as loud.
And I did it. And I did it wearing a collared shirt and dress shoes.
Inappropriate.
Did you drop it right onto the fire?
I did it very close. It went very right towards it. But yeah, dress shoes, dress shirt. I got my Patagonia on, and I'm out there cutting trees down in the backyard at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, so it's always an interesting trip.
Because that's what normal people do.
Yeah, and my nickname is the moderator.
Your moderator?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I moderate discussions, not events. So it's not about being in moderation. It's about moderating a conversation and really trying to foster like an experience. And I think and actually funny is Jack, you and I had a conversation prior to airing about a little bit of my journey and some of your experience with autism. And I will say it is almost one of my like coping mechanisms to test all the people around me to act in kind of the little subversive way.
Yeah.
Not outlandishly, not offensively, but just enough to ride that line to kind of test where everybody's at in the room.
Yeah.
And so
a little bit of craziness doesn't hurt the world, I tell you.
Absolutely not.
You know, as long as you don't use it's on your friends, you're okay.
Russ, is this how you thought this would go?
Oh, Russ knows how this goes.
This is exactly how I thought it would go.
But I think
this is a couple months ago. Ian invited me out for a couple of beers and some pizza, and then me sitting there at the bar like this as he's talking over me to two other people sitting next to me. Like I wasn't even there. Like I'm just literally sitting there.
Because for me, Jack, humanity is a case study.
Yes, Jack.
I've done stuff like that. That's all I'm saying.
But for me, it's a case study, right? Like I want to experience as much of humanity as possible so I can have an informed decision when interacting with other people.
Yeah.
And so, throw an icebreaker out, and now I get to experiment with society and see what's out there.
And you've figured out the whole secret to life. It's about interacting with other people.
And I have fun doing it. And it's a wonderful experience because I've managed to exist in a place where I'm never confused about who my enemies are. Because within the first 5 to 15 minutes of knowing me, it's super clear if you hate me or not.
Yeah.
Because there's very little balance.
With that, I gotta go.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. And please,
literally.
Did you eat onion rings again? Oh my God.
Love you, Ian.
anytime you want to come out to our stuff over here in Rockland, in Massachusetts, you let us know.
Yeah,
We'll be happy to host you. And it's such a wonderful experience. The hall very, very rarely disappoints. It's always just a wonderful evening, and it's all positive energy in
My
there.
Reaper team's looking for. We're talking about a place to go, and they want to do just some other investigation beside residential. So I'll talk to them about that, and I'll reach out to you, and maybe we can talk what dates you got available and what's going on, and like.
Well, see, that's what's nice about the hall is we wanted to set it up as a learning center for people, kind of almost like a hub for people to come and learn how to investigate and everything like that. We knew we had the activity after the first couple times of investigating there.
Yeah.
But now that we're starting to have more and more groups in there that are actually validating what we've captured, it makes a lot more sense, and we're building that history more and more towards it. So,
with probably Sarah would come, and my team, we could probably have 10 to 12 people.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
and honestly,
I'm just
the
telling you
whole
what I got. They could come out, and whatever you charge for that, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
we could almost split it with the house and hall, and do like 6 and 6 in one location, 6 in another.
Yeah,
well, I mean, the hall by itself gets a little crowded at 18. But I mean, you have 4 floors of 1,800 square feet each. I mean, you can really spread over this. I mean, it was built 1899 as a retreat for Civil War veterans. Their wives actually collected all the money and had it built for them. It's been a church. It's been a school.
Watching tonight, so we'll have to talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, check it out. WarnerParanormal.com. It's got information on the hall. You can also check out.
Send me a link
GAR
too, because I'll forget.
Yes, sir.
With things, remembering names of things, I get a bad thing with that. So
yeah, not a problem.
We'll do. And Ellen, we'll send over the aftercare bus to pick you up.
Thanks. In a walker.
I got a little bit of a drive, but that's okay. I don't mind driving.
Hi.
I'm coming in from Rensselaer, New York, so no big deal for me.
Well, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll obviously let you get off here. I always appreciate it. Any parting words for our viewers?
If you want to find us, spiritsofnewengland.org, you can go there. Or if you want to check out my stuff and what's going on, you can go to jackkenna.org, or just find us on Facebook, Ellen MacNeil and Jack Kenna.
Yeah, and thank you for putting up with my voice and lack of voice, and thank you, Russ. You're the only person I would give up time with wrestling. Seamus is over here crying.
Seamus, thanks you.
No.
Thank you, gentlemen. Really, it's been a pleasure. Thanks.
It's been our pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
I think Ellen's gone.
Ellen's already left.
Nope, she's going to get Seamus.
She's back. Appreciate it.
It's my boy.
At first, I was like, "Who is Seamus?"
The wrestlers.
Well, no.
Ian,
know who he is.
You gotta.
I know. Yep.
Oh, am I about to see a whole collection? What's going on?
No.
Ellen, I have way too many tongues in my face right now.
You're Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
I
get my babies.
To be fair, Ellen,
Seamus and Mick.
Your comment about me kind of is tracking now. Apparently, you have a type. It's just the bearded Irish. Like, is that?
Well, sometimes I got Drew McIntyre over here too.
That's why I don't carry the full beard. I am Irish, but I don't carry the full beard.
Me either. Oh, get down. Oh.
Irish women are notorious for their ability to grow the beard.
It's true.
Thank God I'm Scottish.
Even thicker. And if anybody was ever curious, the dwarves from Lord of the Rings are based on the Scots.
That's the way. Yeah, that's right. Right. That's right.
Yep.
I remember that.
I just want to thank all my buddies that I miss so much, and I'm up past my bedtime, so I know you are too. But I really miss all you guys, and I miss my Jack.
I'm gonna have to come up there and visit you, Ellen.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I got to go out to visit. We'll figure it all out, gentlemen.
Yep.
I know it.
We'll visit Ellen.
Salem calls us.
And we'll get Ellen to come visit all of us. One or the other.
I can't walk that
All
fast.
one place.
We'll send a pony.
Yeah.
Ellen, start walking now. You may make it by October.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know I love you too.
Russ, she's been good tonight.
I've
I
been
know
very
she
good
has. I am
tonight.
proud of her. I am proud of her. All right, guys. With that being said,
All right.
thank you guys so much for coming on. You guys have been
Thanks,
absolutely
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Ellen,
Love
you owe me a
guys.
20-minute interview for your lack of screen time, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Like I said.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a good night. I'm going to
All right,
You
thanks,
have
guys.
a
You
cute
guys
tip.
have a good night.
All right.
And as always, guys, stay blessed. And I definitely didn't think I was going to see a PG version of a toy tongue tonight. So
Yeah, that kind of. We'll do this.
The first annual Maine Paranormal and Horror Con is coming to Maine on September 6th and 7th at the Augusta Civic Center. Come meet your favorite paranormal investigators, cryptid hunters, and horror icons. Special guests include John Zaffis, the haunted collector from Sci-Fi, Jeff and Willie from Mountain Monsters, Bob Elmore Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, CJ Graham, also known as Jason Voorhees from Jason Lives Part 6, Ronnie LeBlanc from Expedition Bigfoot, and many more to be announced. Tickets are on sale now. Go to mainparahorror.com to get your tickets and VIP packages now. For more information, check out Maine Paranormal and Horror Con on Facebook and Instagram.